Hi, Rocco Luongo, data-driven business coach. Have you ever struggled with getting inspired and knowing you need to put something into a plan, but not really being sure how to build out a plan or how to actually build out a strategy? Does the term strategy sometimes seem hard to achieve? Does it seem like a skill that maybe you don't have? Well, today I'm going to take you through one of the facilitations that I use with my clients, with my business clients, on how to build a strategy. Now, there's no tricks to this. It's very organic, and the best part is your team will love it. Have you ever struggled with coming up with a strategy or a plan that you yourself don't really know if your team will follow, or you think it's great, you know it's great in your heart, but you just know there are going to be some holdouts who aren't going to get on board? This method helps you get all past it. We develop the strategy organically together with your team in a way that they will love. So I'm going to show you the 10 steps on how to do it. Follow along here. There's also a white paper that you can download to see this step by step, and you can also sign up to have me come and do it on site with you. Okay, so step number one when you're building out a great strategy is gather up your team. That's step one. Get the stakeholders, get the experts, get them in the same room. When I was developing new technologies, and I still do, but as I was really in the heart of it, we were constantly working and going in different directions, and we had to come back and get the stakeholders in the room to make sure that not necessarily that we all agreed on everything, because whole teams are never going to necessarily agree on the bigger implications, but you can agree on the goal that you're working on if you lay out that goal with your team. And it's easy to tell if this is a good way to do it, because imagine if someone drops a strategy or a plan on you and you have not had a chance to buy in, you've not had a chance to weigh in on that. Won't you feel undervalued? Well, your valuable team will feel undervalued too. So step one, gather up that team, okay? Step two, get a whiteboard. Okay, get a whiteboard and lots of colorful markers. This is something where you stand up. You're standing up, you're not sitting down, you're leading the team, you're flowing the energy. You are facilitating this process, not dictating it. Okay? Step number three, gather up your Post-it notes and your Sharpies. Again, lots of colors, right? This is where we're going to capture the steps and the tasks of the strategy. This is going to be a live and interactive experience, all right? Step number four, hand these things out to your team, okay? I say that as a separate step. It may seem like it isn't necessary to say, but I say that as a separate step because it really matters. This engages your team. They are going to see themselves in this plan. Okay, I used to spend a lot of time as a teenager in my early 20s in motorcycle shops, and a great motorcycle salesman told me that a smart salesman will always adjust the mirrors on a motorcycle so that when a potential customer sits down, the first thing they see is their smiling face. Handing these things out to your team is going to let them see their face in the plan you build. Okay, so that's step four. Hand it out, facilitate, do not dictate. All right. Step five, define the future state. What is that goal? What is that target that everybody's going to work for? Define it, write it down on one of the sticky notes, and I like to put a big thick border on it, write it out, and you put it here somewhere close to the right side of the board. Okay? You'll see where this is going in a minute, but what I want to make sure is you recognize this is only step five. We are going to get through the bulk of the time and the work in defining this goal. This is not necessarily quick and easy, okay? When I do designed experiments, when my firm was hired in to help with the Fukushima, to help optimize the system that cleaned up that radioactive water, just defining the goal of the work took about 60% of the time in actually the definition and the execution of that test. Because that part is so critical. People have developed ideas, they have their own concepts, you have a valuable team. So take the time and facilitate what that home run scenario looks like. Facilitate what that goal is. And once you've got it, Put it up there, okay? How we define a problem is how we solve the problem. So take time doing this piece, okay? Once you have the goal up there, this next step, step 6, is to define the celebration. How will you recognize your team once you reach that goal? How will your team come together, share high fives, share a drink? Maybe it's a bonus, maybe it's a trip. Who knows what it is? Whatever is meaningful for your team, but define it and you have to want to do it. That has to be something you can't wait to celebrate because this goal is big enough to pull everyone together with a facilitator to define. So the next step again is define the celebration and put that up to the right of the goal. That's going to be the only thing that goes to the right. Okay? And here's what we do with all these whiteboard markers. We connect the tasks. Okay? Make this clear. Goal equals celebration. Prize, bonus, trip, whatever it is. Okay? Now, what do we do next? Take one step back from the goal and ask your team, what do we need to do right before this happens? What is that step? And let your team think. Don't rush them. Okay? Everybody processes information at different speeds. Some people want to blurt out. Some people want to be quiet. But let them write it down and grab a task. Now you may get more than one that are similar. Stack them up. That shows a level of weight. Okay? Then ask the question again. What has to happen before that? And grab another one. And you'll see I'm using different color pens and different color sticky notes because that's what you're going to get. Not every idea is going to come from that same pad, that favorite color pen or favorite color piece of paper. So it's going to look chaotic and organic at this point. It's supposed to. By the end, I'll show you how we tighten this right up and let you track it using electronic project management software if you choose to, or the strategy map that we develop. It's all electronic in the end, but it starts organic. Touching, talking, and in the same room. Okay? Now, you continue working back in steps and connecting with your whiteboard markers. Okay? And what you'll find is there are going to be some tasks, I'm just going to throw some up here, right, that may have to go in parallel, and some others that might have to go in series. Okay? So, start connecting all of these tasks until you get all the way back to today. Okay? Your current state, which you've already defined because we know the process to optimize any system, including a strategy, is 1, to measure the current state, 2, reduce variability, 3, hit a target, any target, and 4, optimize the result, which means you may have to go back and recognize, hey, this task maybe didn't go as well. How do we improve them? Using our data. So we flow all the way back to our initial state today. Okay? Now we have connected, so that was the 9th step, connect everything with series and parallel connections, build yourself out a structure, and now assign responsibilities and resources. Here's where you decide that Mary's going to do this, Tom's going to do this, right? The reason we do it this way, why this is the new world to do this, because in the old world, what did people do? You'd sit there with a Gantt chart up on the wall, and as soon as you say something that takes a long time, there's this huge block that's up on the wall. Immediately, no one's going to want to have their name attached to that thing, and everyone is going to start making value trades, whether it's worth it, time, money, etc., to have it. What we're trying to find out is if it is a necessary step to get from point A to point B and earn this goal, and earn this celebration, right? When everything is the same size, it opens up people's minds in a way that lets them free flow ideas and put up tasks that may not be necessarily their responsibility to finish. Have you ever had that problem? People ask you your opinion, but you know darn well, if I list 6 things, I'm going to get stuck with all of them. In this case, we assign that at the end once we've seen the totality of it and how it connects. That relieves a tremendous amount of pressure from your team and allows them to focus creatively and organically in only taking the things that matter. And we build from the end to the beginning because it builds a lean process in. When you pull the need from the end instead of trying to push it from the beginning, no waste comes along. So this is how we build a very efficient system. I'm going to throw up a graphic on what this actually looks like when you put it into an online strategy map and you actually are able to track it using MS Project or whatever project management software you want. And so this is the process that we use. There's a white paper for it. Again, what are the do's and don'ts? Do gather your team because that's important. Do make it fun, colorful, energetic. Don't just sit there and lob suggestion bombs. Facilitate. Hand the stuff out, right? You want to define that future state and remember, do. Take your time defining that future state. Facilitate it, discuss it. If there's debate, have that debate, right? I believe in full contact business. If we need to get full contact on this, then let's get there. All right? Get to the root of the issue, define that goal, and then break down the tasks that get you there. Okay? So, what's the one thing I wanted you to take away from this? Building out a strategy and a plan. It's not a trick. What you need to do is gather that team, come up with a process that people can follow so they feel comfortable sharing what they think is right without the fear of getting stuck with all the work, and really let your team shine. The magic will flow from your team. I'm Rocco Luongo. This is GoRocco.pro. Check us out online. Thank you very much for your time. Go you.
Thanks for watching Thoughtful Leadership. If you liked what you just saw, we hope you'll pass along our web address, GoRocco.pro, to your friends and colleagues. Be sure to check out our podcasts, our channel on YouTube, our social media presence on Facebook and Instagram, and our blog at GoRocco.pro. This has been a production of Power Focus Engineering PS and GoRocco.pro. Join us next time for another edition of Thoughtful Leadership.